Welcome back. Reclaiming the great outdoors. An outdoor enthusiast teams up with a filmmaker to document the exploration of New Hampshire's White Mountains, known as the Whites. Here's a look.
There's been an opportunity cost to spending so much time up here, and that is time that's not spent with the Black community. And so I am giving up times of being with other Black people and the way that we nurture each other and the way that we make up for all the ways we've been drained during the week by racism, by the state of our society and the state of our world. It's the time together with Black folks where we affirm our worth and our value and our beauty and our strength.
Marty Fuller and Paula Champagne are with us now to talk more about their experience as Black women taking part in an activity that's typically associated with white men. So Marty, what do you think are the biggest barriers to Black people hiking in the White Mountains? Is it equipment? Is it fear? Is it access?
Gosh, it is so many things. I think it's lack of exposure, but that is because of the ways that Black people have been historically excluded from participating in outdoor recreation for centuries. And so with that exclusion, going back to, segregation in parks, and just kind of urbanization and lack of green space in cities and just lack of exposure to activities like climbing or hiking. I think that is one of the main factors. Of course, the White Mountains are a couple of hours away, so there's the distance, so you've got to have the time and you've got to have some of the resources to keep yourself safe hiking out there.
Talk about the time that you've spent in the White Mountains. Has that given you a different understanding about the planet and our role in it?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Absolutely it has. I love living in Boston, but to have such a beautiful, vast, expansive backcountry area 2 hours away has been so life-giving to me, to be able to be in green space and just to appreciate preservation and sustainability, going back to the original stewards of the land, the Abenaki people, who continue to steward. So it has been, it has just been remarkable, and it has impacted my entire life and how I go about life in the city and how I view the challenges facing us in terms of, climate change.
Sure. So Paula documented this whole thing. What inspired you to make this documentary? Was it Marty or was it the White Mountains?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, I've known Marty longer than I've known the White Mountains. So Marty first, White Mountains second. I started working for an outdoor nonprofit that did most of their work in the White Mountains. And so I started there about 5 years ago before I went freelancing full time. And that's where I spent the most time in the White Mountains, where I started to understand the complicated feelings that Marty had. And so I already knew Marty, but I felt like I knew her closer and I knew her more after I learned about this specific community in the White Mountains more.
So Paula, what conversations were sparked between you and Marty in terms of this film? As you talked about Black liberation and Marty referenced it, white supremacy, if you will, in access to nature. What conversations were sparked?
A lot of conversations about how a lot of the community there didn't know how to talk to us, and that we felt very othered in many circumstances. So it was a lot about our kind of complicated, uncomfortable experiences that we had, and how we kind of reckoned with that, and how we wanted to shift the community towards a more welcoming community that reflected us.
Marty, during various points in the pandemic, the outdoor space was really one of the only places for people to be safe and to feel safe. Did you see more diversity in the White Mountains during the pandemic years?
I did, and I would say that the mountains have been becoming more and more diverse. I'm so excited to see that and to be part of a movement that is making that happen. But yes, I think a lot of us, needed time outside, especially spending so much time inside and just kind of in our homes or with our families, and needed just that reminder of our connection to nature and how important and life-giving that is.
What are you doing to make the White Mountains and the experience more inclusive?
Sure. Well, I volunteer with an organization called Outdoor Afro, a national organization that centers Black leadership and Black connection to nature. So I help get folks out hiking and climbing and doing other activities. I also do a bunch of writing on the topic, inspiring folks. I hope to kind of get out in whatever way is comfortable for people and makes sense for them. It could be, you know, anything local, walking in the Blue Hills, or you know, looking for birds.
It's good exercise, and it's also good for your mental health too.
Right, there's
It's good
so many
stress
ways
reliever.
to engage.
Okay,
Yeah.
Paula, I know you live out in the Pacific Northwest now, but when you did live here, what were some of your favorite places to hike?
I lived in Dedham for a couple years, and I really love the Wilson Mountain Reservation. It's super small, but it was about 5 minutes from where I lived, and so I would go take a short little hike there with my dog and my husband almost every day for a couple
Okay,
years.
Marty, if you can't make it to the White Mountains, talk about some of the favorite local places where people can hike or walk in the Boston area, some of your favorites.
Sure, I love World's End in Hingham, those two beautiful Drummonds. I love Breakheart Reservation, which is in the Saugus Revere area, and of course the Blue Hills, just a few miles from where I live in Dorchester, is where, you know, I spend a lot of time locally.
Okay, Marty, thank you so much for being here. And Paula, thanks to you as well for joining us. Now you can find a link to Marty and the Whites. That film link is on our website at WCVB.com.